Now, he's a prolific inventor who believes in seeing an idea through from start to finish. He cut his inventing teeth in 2004 on a jet helicopter, a jet engine, and a gyroplane, which he built single-handedly. That earned him a valued membership of the Aircraft Builders, Owners and Pilots Association in the US, as well as membership of the expert group in rocketry at the Nigerian space agency NASRADA. Since then, Regnault Bamiji has gone on to build a prototype robot controlled by light and sound effects, which earned him the award of Master Robot Builder from the Robotics and Science Kits organization in California. Well, more recently, he's invented a fuel-less power-generating system, which is awaiting a US patent, and a capacitor-powered vehicle, what you just saw on your screens, which uses the mechanical heat energies generated by the wheels of the car to keep its capacitor and DC storage fully charged all the time. And the best part of it all is he's Nigerian.
What you are seeing here is the 1.5 kilowatt fuel-less power generator. It's called fuel-less power generator because it does not use any kind of fuel. It uses capacitor as its main source of power. The advantage of this generator over solar or wind is that it charges itself. It doesn't need the sun, it doesn't need the wind, it doesn't need any other thing, but it charges itself while it's working. And the only disadvantage you can see in this generator is that when it is not used for up to a week, since they are capacitors, they discharge themselves. But as a way, we charge it back in just 10 minutes with either a battery or anything. We connect it 10 minutes, it is enough. It has already activated itself to start another work.
Well, I'm delighted to welcome the inventor, Regnault Bamiji, to our studios. Good to see you again, Regnault.
Thank you very much.
The last time I saw you was like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago.
That's very true.
I came to see you in Jos. You just built a helicopter.
That's very
and we
true.
filmed your helicopter and
It's
everything.
true.
So it's brilliant to see that you're still doing this and doing it rather well. I mean, I wonder if you arrived here in your sort of invented car or helicopter that you built yourself.
No, I didn't come with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's just start by, how long have you been tinkering around and sort of inventing things?
Well, it has been a very, very long time because all my life I've been thinking of invention. No, I left the military not just because for any other reason. I just decided to leave the military to go into invention. I left the military as a captain. Decided to move ahead for invention. So it has been a very long time that I've been there in the field of invention.
And I do like the idea of a car that is fuel-less and
correct.
uses the mechanical heat generated by its wheels to keep itself fully charged all the time. I mean, how did you come up with that idea?
No, normally I try to do something different from electric cars. For electric cars, you might be thinking of looking for maybe a charging station to charge the batteries. But instead of doing that, in our environment, we don't have such charging stations. So for us to get something that is convenient for our own environment, I decided to build this because you don't need a charging station. What you do is that the capacitors, they are unlike batteries. You can use them and charge them at the same time, which you can do with batteries.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's how the system works.
So it's a practical tool, really.
That's what I drove that day. So.
Yes, absolutely. So how many inventions have there now been from you in total?
That's about 7 for now.
And I expect that soon enough they'll be popping up. I mean, I'm hoping they'll be sort of popping up all over the place, particularly that fuel-less generator, which I think is quite practical for Nigeria. But I mean, why haven't they become commercially available yet?
Actually, we entered into an agreement with a Chinese company, and what happened that I prefer to work maybe as a partner with them, but they insisted that I must come to the company in China and work as the chief technology officer, which I don't want. That will restrict me from my own field.
Absolutely.
So that's what is causing the delay, but we are still talking. The moment we're able to go through it, maybe we can just come to an agreement.
Well, I hope it all works out. But take us back to the beginning. What was your first invention?
My first invention was the gyroplane, the one you came to when you came from Britain.
Yes.
That was the first invention. then followed by the jet engine, which he also filmed years back.
I actually think we have pictures. Yes, there are pictures of the helicopters.
Yeah, the
and
helicopters.
All of that.
So after the helicopter, the jet engine, then finally built the jet helicopter too. So I used the jet engine I built to also mount it on the jet helicopter. So having now two airplane, the jet helicopter and also the gyroplane.
I remember it very clearly, and I was looking at those pictures this afternoon. Did you find that growing up in the Nigerian environment encouraged or discouraged you to become an inventor?
Truly, I find it very difficult. The environment is not encouraging. Actually, I know what I went through even before I come up with even the jet engine alone. You know, when I started even going to the Ministry of Science and Technology, I went with the blueprint of the jet engine. Imagine what the director told me. You know, this technology is too big for this country. It was just so terrible. So I have to leave, look for money, and start building myself. It took me about 13 years to build a jet engine. Yeah.
And were you, I mean, this is a fairly sort of personal question, but were you very bright as a student in school? I mean, I presume you were into the science subjects and that sort of thing.
I am, even up to this moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And were you able to turn those things that you talked about from disadvantages into advantages in Nigeria? I mean, are you one of those people who can think in sort of 3 dimensions, so you can see things in your mind in 3 dimensions and you can design and make things work in your mind before you actually build them?
That's what I usually do. Normally what I do, I prefer, instead of convincing people on paper, I build it, convince myself before I show it to the public.
Yeah, there you are now, getting into that car, and that's the fuel-less car, and it's driven by mechanical heat.
Yes.
We can see it moving there now, generated by the wheels. That way it keeps itself fully charged all the time.
Yes.
Quite a remarkable piece of work there. I would have thought that, you know, given that, you know, a country like Nigeria is absolutely desperate to sort of get into manufacturing and so on, that you'd be having people banging on your door, from government officials to investors.
Yeah, you know, years back we started with the Ministry of Science and Technology, but along the line, you know how things work. Along the line, we had problems.
So you've pretty much gone independent now.
Yeah, that's what I do now.
Because I know you've got a company, is it called Glimis?
Glimis. That's the name for my children I put together.
Right. So do you become sort of like a man obsessed when you're trying to get something to work, or are you more sort of measured about it?
No. In fact, I get so obsessed until I get a solution.
Yeah, because I remember your wife, when I came many years ago, I haven't seen you in years, but when I came, she was like, well, you know, once he gets into it, he vanishes.
That's very true. That's very, very
well, Reginald,
true.
I want to thank you very much indeed for coming in. I really appreciate that. Yes. And, you know, when these things move forward, come and talk to us again.
No problem.
Reginald Bamiji there, the Nigerian inventor.